and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League using my over 20 plus years of technical nonsense and doing loads of other things in football and coaching for goodness knows how long. Breaking down Nottingham Forest, who's one of my favourite teams this season because they're going to be in the Champions League next year. This is one of those tricky ties as well if you're Nottingham Forest, because you've been doing so well and you can let your guard down against those lesser teams at the bottom of the table going away, and you still have to get the win. I think it really should have been a 4-1 scoreline. I think the 4-2 maybe flatters Ipswich a little bit. But we're going to talk about some good things that Forest are doing, especially some of the finishing, because if you've seen my Manchester City video against Brighton, how Brighton should have won that game right there at the end, it's exactly what I was talking about running the length of the field and passing the ball in the goal. Is exactly what Forest do. But we're looking at this corner straight away here. Now, you all well know that I always want a player when you're defending. That isn't a player defending. That's a player man marking going off, right? I want a player here being able to mark these two players. You always want a player in between the D, right? The D is where the ball almost always ends up dropping. You've got to be careful of the D because it's in the center of the goal and it's very, very important. And if you draw defend the D properly, you can start counterattacks. But if you don't, this is where you can score goals from really easily. Now, if you're a midfielder, and you don't want to get involved with them, that was me because I don't head the ball. This is where you stand to get those strikes in. Look at a lot of Frank Lampard's goals. This is where they're standing, coming in. But as this bounces off, as this corner comes in, you can see, boom, there's the first flick. Because there's no one in this zone here, actually, if you're doing proper technical analysis, there's technically 3 zones, but we're just going to say 1 zone, right? He's got all the time in the world to decide what he wants to do. Can he have a shot? Can he make a pass? Can he knock it off to his teammate? And I like the fact his teammate just holds his shape. You can lay it off to me if you need to, buddy. Perfect. Receives the ball, bump. Now what's he looking to do? You can see, though, all of the Ipswich players have just kind of switched off in this next phase of play as soon as it's bounced over to here. They're just now not marking, completely forgetting. Now, when the corner comes in as well, I don't know if a lot of people know this, corners, now the statistics, they're really weird how they do these football statistics as well. I'll break that down in a whole video. But they say only 3% of your corners that you take, you score goals from. Okay? That is really shocking. That's why you want to have the second phase of play. We've got you in your box, pinned down. Can we win the ball and then get it back in? That's where you score goals from, because the other team doesn't really defend that. When you're defending a set play, it's very easy. You know who you're marking, you know what you're doing, but when that second ball comes in, that's when the tricks happen. That's when you make mistakes, and that's exactly what they do here. Ball into the back post, bump, straight up, really, really easy. Not defended in any way, and just knocked back in. As it's knocked back in as well, I'm going to show you from another angle, but you've got 2 Forest players completely unmarked. Chris Wadini, I think that is right there. You've got to be marking him for a start. And they've just made this pocket of space where the ball just gets dropped into. That's all that happens. They just, look, 1, 2, 3 this side, 1, 2, 3, 4 almost this side. No one's picking up any players. Ball comes in, Bosch, drops to the big man, has a little touch, and has a smash. Now, this is what makes a team, okay? I want you to watch this. When this goal goes in, watch right here the body language. Watch the body language right here. This is very important. Has a touch, boom, smashes it in, and then immediately, yeah. He goes get that out of the way, and he's celebrating, and he carries on, by the way. He's just so happy that a goal has gone in. Everyone loves it when a big man scores. Does it, running back. But you know what? I like the fact that the rest of the team celebrate for him as well. Brilliant. So much so, one of his players is ninja hanging off him, like, wow, ball, trying to jump on him straight away. Love it. Love to see that. When you score goals, celebrate. Don't care if you're losing 3-1 and you get a foot, celebrate. But this here is quality team play. Player A makes the tackle. Player B makes the pass because they're there supporting each other. Very, very well done. Like that. Important. Now, there's a couple of other things I'm going to show you as we move this forward. As soon as this pass goes out wide, splits them completely. 1, 2, 3 players still up front holding their shape, and wide and wide. Love it. Stretching these 3. You can't commit, right? This is one of the problems. You can't commit if you've got that many players back. You have to have one more player defending, and otherwise you're just going to get caught on the counter of this because there isn't enough space. So, sorry, there is too much space. There isn't enough for you to cover. You almost have to go man for man, get back over there, closer man for man, and have someone sweeping almost, even though they're not a sweeper, picking up any of these 2 pockets of space. You're just going to get beat. And this is the moment where the defender makes the wrong decision. At this point here, you need to start running towards Elanga here. He is going to beat you. You don't need to let him run down this wing. If you're going to tackle him or do anything, it's over here, before about here, because if you give away a free kick, you don't mind a back there. Anything closer, you're in trouble. What he decides to do is just let him run down the field without going towards the ball at all. You have to close that space and get closer to him. So think about it. That's your one option. That's the option he takes of running. The other one is you run ever so slightly and you try to squeeze him and use the sideline as your friend to squeeze him out of play. He doesn't. No, he just runs. What are you doing? If you make what's called a flat run, look, from that line there, a flat run, that means he can make a flat run and just take you all the way down here. You have to engage the ball. You have to. He just chooses not to. Just chooses just to keep running. So you do know that he's got the football, right? And if you just run towards him on a slanted run, he's going to run in towards you, and you don't have to. You can see what happens. And when he makes a touch, that's when you can go and tackle him, or you can just let him run down the field. I choose option B, coach. Let him run down the field. Well, you wouldn't be playing for me, pal. And at this point, Halanga's laughing, like, mate, what are you doing? He's run past the point of contact. So think about this. There's the ball, which is the point of contact. The defender now has run past. That's a terrible straight line. Right, he's run past it. So he's shown his back to Elanga so he can just come inside, and it is a quality finish. You've got to give the finish some credit here because it is a good finish. He's using the defender to shield it, but it's pinpoint into the far corner. But the defender's giving him all the space and time just to find that bump into the bottom corner. It's a great finish. Let's move it on. This is the advantage when you've got a big man up top who's able to create problems for centre-backs and hold the ball up. Remember, that's the important thing, holding the ball up. That doesn't necessarily mean he keeps possession. It doesn't necessarily mean he knocks it over. It means he holds the ball up. What does that mean? If this is the line where the ball comes, the furthest it goes is there because he knocks it to a would-be midfielder already running in, anticipating that's what's going to happen. Holding the ball in their half of the field. Gets it knocked up to him, and he keeps it there. So that's what they're trying to think about. And then they get caught under the ball completely because they're so worried that he's just going to hold the ball up. Defender's just caught in no man's land. And now we're just running on goal again. That is a simple ball, which if you were beaten out by under 14s, you'd be mad. Not in the Premier League. I mean, it's disgraceful at this level. Simple ball. Defender caught under it. Another player running on. Puts it in. Nice and simple for a brace. Now, if you don't know what is this brace? Yes. So if you don't know where your hat trick in a brace, where that terminology comes from, a brace is like a pair of braces because it's two. That's where it's from. Yeah. There's a little bit more to that story. I can't quite remember it. If anyone knows, put it in the comments below. But I know it's definitely from braces, from the old English brace to brace or braces. Yeah. So let me know. Thanks a lot. This is just a good goal. There's a little bit of class here from, I think it's Hutchinson Weeman. Does a great spin and then just finishes it. This is one of those things where you have to go and pressure the ball, and Forest do a really good job of pressuring the ball, but someone has passed the ball and someone's got a bit of skill. Remember what the word skill means. Skill means to actually, out of all the techniques that you've got in your locker, passing, dribbling, or doing a little spin turn with using the inside of your foot to turn it around, selecting the correct technique in the correct situation. Right, this is skill. Correct technique, boom, beats the player in the correct situation. And there's no one now can put in a challenge before. Let's be fair. It's a good finish. Top corner. Bosh. Yeah. So this is very similar to the goal that I was showing you with the 3 players wide and hitting them on the break. It's very, very similar. Quick transition. Everyone's in the right areas that they need to be, which is stretching Ipswich apart. But winning the ball and holding up here is quality. And there's a little bit of play here I want to show you because after he does what he does, he doesn't give up and he carries on running. Remember, like I said last time, one guy wins the ball and the other guy makes the pass. Exactly same situation. One guy here wins the ball, bump, 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 and there's the other guy stepping onto it and he's making the pass. Dosh, off it goes. Very, very similar. Instead of this time of 3, it's 2. The other players aren't there. Now it's 2v1 instead of 3v3, but it's very, very similar. Very, very. And this is what people talk about when they talk about, coaching passions of play or system. It's you're creating the same circumstances, even though it might be with less numbers, but the same things are happening repeatedly. And you can see it right there. Same style, same thing. Now, you might all be looking here at this 2v1 situation. This is what I'm looking at. Held the ball up and is busting a lung to get there in case he's needed. Ah, brilliant. Love it. But here's what I was talking about in the Man City video is when you have run all this way, make sure you just pass the ball. You don't need to be shooting at this point. You just pass the ball past the goalkeeper. And that's what I think Jota here does. Just passes it into the net box. The defender's really got no it's 2v1. There's not much he can really do unless he brings a player down, gets sent off. But bringing it in, and he just passes it into the goal. All you got to do. Yeah, that's simple. Bit of a late consolation goal here from Ipswich. And you can see it's probably just tired legs at this point because so many people go down to pressure this ball here and leave this simple ball back for a simple delivery in. Look at how many we've got bumped two there, loads of open space. And one thing Forest don't do is they don't really allow these balls in because they put pressure on in about that line there. It's a little bit, God, I'm so good at drawing lines. About that line there, they keep the pressure on so these balls don't come in and don't fly in. When it comes in, it's a decent header. But it's a consolation. It's in the 93rd minute, and that's the one of those little mentality things that Nottingham Forest are going to need a little bit stronger, so they don't let those little last-minute goals in. Because if they go with that into the Champions League, which it looks like most likely they will be next year, that could hurt them. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.